Imagine this. In a single day, you lose everything: your wealth, your family, your health. This was Job's worst day. A day when the unthinkable became reality, and his world crumbled to dust, everything he cherished gone. How would you respond in such a situation? Stay with me, because Job's story holds a secret that every believer needs to hear. Job was a wealthy and righteous man, living a fulfilled life with his family, possessions, and unwavering devotion to God. But then, disaster struck. What was once a peaceful life was suddenly turned upside down by tragedy. Job lost everything: his family, possessions, and health. But the worst was the feeling of loneliness and abandonment. Despite the pain, Job did not lose faith. He continued to pray, seeking meaning in the trials God had set before him. Job's friends questioned his loyalty, suggesting he must be suffering because of some sin. Job bravely confronted his doubts. He asked, "Why do the righteous also suffer?" Ultimately, Job realized that trials are part of a greater plan beyond human understanding. God blessed Job with twice as much as he had before for his loyalty and patience through the trials. Job's story reminds us that even in the greatest trials, faith and loyalty will lead to salvation. Are you willing to put your trust in God like Job? Reflect on your own trials and find meaning in his plan. Job's oxen and donkeys were stolen. The peace of the pasture was quickly shattered by the violence. A great fire consumed Job's sheep. This loss was devastating. Job's camels were raided, and one by one, his servants rushed in with terrible news. Bad news followed worse news. The house of Job's children collapsed in disaster. All 10 of his children were killed. Despite the pain, Job did not turn away from God. He knelt, filled with sorrow and prayer. Job was afflicted with painful boils from head to toe. The physical agony added to the anguish of his soul. His friends offered no comfort, but accused him of wrongdoing. Their words only deepened his suffering. Even his wife said, "Curse God and die." Yet Job remained steadfast in his faith. In his pain, he cried out, "Why me? What have I done to deserve this?" Yet through the trials, Job did not lose faith. He believed God would bring purpose to all the suffering. Job held on to the belief that beyond all suffering, something good awaited. God never abandoned Job. His faithfulness was rewarded with blessings. In the end, Job was blessed with twice what he had lost. His faithfulness became an example for us all. Job not only found restoration, but also a stronger faith in God's plan. Every trial has its purpose. From his suffering, Job's story became an inspiration, reminding us that faith can carry us through any hardship. Job prayed with gratitude, not just for blessings, but for the strength God gave him to endure the trials. Job's life proves that after the storm comes the rainbow. Hope always exists, even in the darkest moments. Job's story was recorded as an eternal reminder that loyalty and faith will always be rewarded. Life is not always smooth, but the current of faith will always guide us through challenges. Job not only regained his family, but also a deeper appreciation for the value of love and trust in God. With steadfastness, Job became an example of unwavering faith, triumphing over even the greatest sorrows. When light breaks through the darkness, that's when we realize faith has carried us through. Job's image remains forever a symbol of courage, perseverance, and faith in the divine. Be like Job, soar high with faith, overcoming every storm to reach salvation. From Job's story, we learn that love and trust are the lights that guide us through the darkest nights. At his lowest point, Job's suffering wasn't just physical or emotional, it was spiritual. He questioned God, challenged him, sought answers to his pain. And then, in a whirlwind, God responded. But not with explanations. Instead, he reminded Job of the vastness of creation, the mysteries beyond human understanding. It was in this moment that Job realized something profound. His suffering wasn't about punishment or failure. It was a test of faith, an opportunity to trust in God's greater plan, even when the answers weren't clear. Job's response was powerful. "I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you." His perspective shifted. He understood that faith isn't about having all the answers, it's about trust, even in the storm. Through the trial, Job realized the power of faith in things beyond human understanding. And as a reward, God restored all that Job had lost, even blessing him more abundantly than before. Job's story is a reminder that sometimes suffering is simply part of the journey of faith. Remember, faith doesn't require you to understand everything. It calls you to trust Him, even when the path ahead is unclear. Job crossed the bridge of suffering to discover that even in darkness, God is always there. Suffering isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new flow leading to peace. God doesn't always answer the way we expect, but He always guides us through the stars of hope. The fruits of faith don't arrive immediately, but they bloom at the right time. The journey of faith doesn't promise ease, but it ensures you'll never walk alone. Job learned to let go of his pain and let his spirit soar, free and trusting God's plan. Through the trials, he realized that God always has a greater purpose for everything that happens. Peace doesn't come from avoiding the storm, but from God's presence in it. Faith is the candle that burns bright, even in the deepest darkness. Job recorded the lessons from his trials, leaving behind a legacy of faith for us all. Job's faith was like ripples on water, spreading and touching everyone around him. After the storm, the rainbow appears, reminding us of God's promise. Job overcame the darkness to step into the light, where his faith was strengthened. Job's faith was like an ancient tree, strong and resilient through every storm. Trust, even when you don't understand, for God always has a perfect plan for you. The light finally broke through the darkness in Job's life, bringing a new and hopeful beginning. Job began his journey of restoration with renewed faith and a heart full of hope. God blessed Job with twice as much as he had before, a sign of restoration and grace. The blessings weren't just material. Job's family was mended and love was restored. Job lived to see 4 generations of his descendants, a precious gift from God. Job's life ended in peace. He passed away old and full of meaningful days. But true restoration wasn't just in material things, but in Job's strong faith in God. Job's story became a testimony of resilience and the power of faith, even when life feels unbearably heavy. Do you feel this story reflects something in your life? Take a moment to reflect on its message. Job's faith is a precious lesson, reminding us that perseverance and faith always bring hope and salvation. Life may bring challenges, but it is through challenges that we see God's grace and love. Like Job, we too can find restoration and happiness if we hold on to our faith. Hope is a flame that never goes out, even in the darkest times. Job's story reminds us of the value of family and faith in our lives. God is always present, guiding us through challenges and bringing light into our lives. Trust and pray, for faith is always the strength that helps us overcome every challenge. Job's journey reminds us that through faith, we can overcome any challenge and soar higher than ever before. God's blessings come not only from what we receive, but also from the gratitude we show to Him. Like Job, each of us has our own journey to find faith and peace. God's light is always present, no matter how deep the darkness we pass through. Life, like a river, always flows forward, bringing hope and new opportunities. In simplicity and innocence, we learn to find joy in the little things. Job's story is a reminder of our place in God's grand design. Sow faith into your life, and you will reap wonderful things. The bridge of faith is what leads us to true peace and happiness. Even in the darkness, remember that God's light is always waiting for you. Job once had a prosperous life, with a happy family and abundant wealth. His life was filled with blessings, but in an instant, he lost everything. Family, wealth, and joy seemed to vanish in a day of turmoil. Despite his suffering, Job did not blame God. He held firm in his faith, believing that all things happen for a deeper reason. Even his closest friends couldn't understand. They blamed him, claiming his sins had brought this upon him. Job cried out to God, seeking answers. But silence doesn't always mean being unheard. God answered Job through the power of nature. In the storm, Job realized the greatness and mysterious plans beyond human understanding. Job no longer questioned or argued. He realized that sometimes faith must go beyond the understanding of the mind. In the end, God restored to Job more than he ever had. The trials ended and joy returned. Through Job's story, we learn that even in the greatest suffering, God is always present and loving. Job's story reminds us that suffering doesn't mean abandonment. Sometimes, trials are the beginning of growth. So when you face trials, remember that you are not alone. You have the strength to endure, the faith to seek, and the courage to trust. Like Job, every trial can become an opportunity to grow and understand God's love more deeply. Share your story in the comments below. And if you found this video meaningful, hit like and subscribe to the channel for more valuable lessons. Sometimes, like a cracked cup, we feel imperfect. But it's through the cracks that light and water can still shine. In darkness, even the smallest candle can bring light. Faith helps us see hope amidst suffering. Every storm passes, and nature revives stronger. Life is the same. Trials make us grow. God blessed Job with a new family and new joys. His faith was rewarded. Job's journey is not just a story of suffering, but a testament to the strength of perseverance and faith. Like Job, we too can find strength and faith to overcome all challenges. Trials may weaken us momentarily, but ultimately, peace and prosperity will return. Gratitude is the key to recognizing blessings after every trial. Job teaches us that when we look up, God's strength and love are always present. In the hardest moments, choose the path of faith and perseverance. Like light breaking through darkness, faith can help you overcome the darkest trials. After every storm, life always returns. Hope will grow from the suffering you've endured. Remember, trials are not the end. They are the beginning of a greater journey ahead. Imagine standing amidst the ruins of everything you hold dear. What would you do when challenges strike one after another? Job, a righteous man, lost his wealth, family, and health. Yet amidst all the pain, he never let go of his faith. Like stars shining in the dark sky, Job's faith was a guiding light amidst life's shadows. Job's story reminds us that even when everything falls apart, faith can be the strength that lifts us up. God blessed Job with twice what he had before, proving that faith is always rewarded. True happiness isn't just about what we own, but about trusting in God, no matter the circumstance. What lesson can you learn from Job? Let your faith guide you through life's challenges. Now it's your turn. What part of Job's story resonates most with you? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're inspired by stories of resilience and faith, check out our next video where we explore the secrets behind finding hope in the darkest times. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because together, we can uncover more truths that every believer should know. See you in the next video.